Fences by August Wilson, Act 2, Scene 5. The time is 1965. The lights come up in the yard. It is the morning of Troy's funeral. A funeral plaque with a light hangs beside the door. There is a small garden plot off to the side. There is noise and activity in the house as Rose, Gabriel, and Bono have gathered. The door opens and Raynell, 7 years old, enters dressed in a flannel nightgown. She crosses to the garden and pokes around with a stick. Rose calls from the house. Raynell? Ma'am? What are you doing out there? Nothing. Rose comes to the door. Girl, get in here and get dressed. What you doing? Seeing if my garden growed. I told you it ain't gonna grow overnight. You gotta wait. It don't look like it never gonna grow. Dag. I told you a watched pot never boils. Get in here and get dressed. This ain't even no pot, Mama. You just have to give it a chance. It'll grow. Now you come on and do what I told you. We gotta be getting ready. This ain't no morning to be playing around. You hear me? Yes, ma'am. Rose exits into the house. Raynell continues to poke at her garden with a stick. Cory enters. He is dressed in a Marine corporal's uniform and carries a duffel bag. His posture is that of a military man, and his speech has a clipped sternness. To Raynell. Hi. I bet your name is Raynell. Uh-huh. Is your mama home? Raynell runs up on the porch and calls through the screen door. Mama, there's some man out here. Mama? Rose comes to the door. Cory? Lord have mercy. Look here, you all. Rose and Cory embrace in a tearful reunion as Bono and Lyons enter from the house, dressed in funeral clothes. Oh, look a here. Done got all grown up. Don't cry, Mama. What you crying about? I'm just so glad you made it. Hey, Lyons. How you doing, Mr. Bono? Lyons goes to embrace Cory. Look at you, man. Look at you. Don't he look good, Rose? Got them corporal stripes? What took you so long? You know how the Marines are, man. You know how the Marines are, Mama. They got to get all their paperwork straight before they let you do anything. Well, I'm sure glad you made it. They let Lyons come. Your Uncle Gabe's still in the hospital. They don't know if they're going to let him out or not. I just talked to them a little while ago. A corporal in the United States Marines. Your daddy knew you had it in you. He used to tell me all the time. Don't he look good, Mr. Bono? Yeah, he reminds me of Troy when I first met him. Say, Rose, Lucille's down at the church with the choir. I'm going to go down and get the pallbearers lined up. I'll be back to get you all. Thanks, Jim. See you, Mr. Bono. With his arm around Raynell. Cory, look at Raynell. Ain't she precious? She gonna break a whole lot of hearts. Raynell, come and say hello to your brother. This is your brother, Cory. You remember Cory? No, ma'am. She won't remember me, Mama. Well, we talk about you. She heard us talk about you. To Raynell. This is your brother, Cory. Come on and say hello. Hi. Hi, so you're Raynell. Mama told me a lot about you. You all come on into the house and let me fix you some breakfast. Keep up your strength. I ain't hungry, Mama. You can fix me something, Rose. I'll be in there in a minute. Cory, you sure you don't want nothing? You sure you don't want nothing? I know they ain't feeding you right. No, Mama, thanks. I don't feel like eating. I'll get something later. Raynell, get on upstairs and get that dress on like I told you. Rose and Raynell exit into the house. So, I hear you thinking about getting married. Yeah, I done found the right one, Lyons. It's about time. Me and Bonnie been split up about 4 years now. About the time Papa retired. I guess she just got tired of all them changes I was putting her through. I always knew you was going to make something out of yourself. Your head was always in the right direction. So you going to stay in, make it a career, put in your 20 years? I don't know. I got 6 already. I think that's enough. Stick with Uncle Sam and retire early. Ain't nothing out here. I guess Rose told you what happened with me. They got me down in the workhouse. I thought I was being slick, cashing other people's checks. How much time you doing? They give me 3 years. I got that beat now. I ain't got but 9 more months. It ain't so bad. You learn to deal with it like anything else. You got to take the crookeds with the straights. That's what Papa used to say. He used to say that when he struck out. I seen him strike out 3 times in a row, and the next time up, he hit a ball over the grandstand, right out there in the homestead field. He wasn't satisfied taking in the seats, and he wanted to hit it over everything. After the game, he had 200 people standing around waiting to shake his hand. You got to take the crookeds with the straights. Yeah, Papa was something else. You still playing? Cory, you know I'm gonna do that. There's some fellows down there, we got us a band. But we're gonna try staying together when we get out. But yeah, I'm still playing. It still helps me to get out of bed in the morning. As long as I do that, I'm gonna be right there playing and trying to make some sense out of it. Calling. Lions, I got these eggs in the pan. Let me go on and get these eggs, man. Get ready to bury Papa. How you doing? You doing all right? Cory nods. Lions touches him on the shoulder and they share a moment of silent grief. Lions exits into the house. Cory wanders about the yard. Raynell enters. Hi. Hi. Did you used to sleep in my room? Yeah, that used to be my room. That's what Papa call it. Cory's room. You got your football in the closet. Rose comes to the door. Raynell, get in there and get them good shoes on. Mama, I can't wear these. Them other one hurt my feet. Well, they're just gonna have to hurt your feet for a while. You ain't said they hurt your feet when you went down to the store and got them. They didn't hurt then. My feet done got bigger. Don't you give me no back talk now. You get in there and get them shoes on. Raynell exits into the house. Ain't too much changed. He's still got that piece of rag tied to that tree. He was out here swinging that bat. I was just ready to go back in the house. He swung that bat. Hold on. He swung that bat, and then he just fell over. Seemed like he swung it and stood there with this grin on his face, and then he just fell over. They carried him on down to the hospital, but I knew there wasn't no need. Why don't you come on in the house? Mama, I got something to tell you. I don't know how to tell you this, but I've got to tell you. I'm not going to Papa's funeral. Boy, hush your mouth. That's your daddy you talking about. I don't want to hear that kind of talk this morning. I done raised you to come to this. You standing there all healthy and grown talking about you ain't going to your daddy's funeral. Mama, listen. I don't want to hear it, Cory. You just get that thought out of your head. I can't drag Papa with me everywhere I go. I've got to say no to him. One time in my life, I've got to say no. Don't nobody has to listen to nothing like that. I know you and your daddy ain't seen eye to eye, but I ain't got to listen to that kind of talk this morning. Whatever was between you and your daddy, the time has come to put it aside. Just take it and set it over there on the shelf and forget about it. Disrespecting your daddy ain't going to make you a man, Cory. You got to find a way to come to that on your own. Not going to find your daddy's funeral ain't going to make you a man. Not going to your daddy's funeral ain't going to make you a man. The whole time I was growing up, living in his house, Papa was like a shadow that followed you everywhere. It weighed on you and sunk into your flesh. It would wrap around you and lay there until you couldn't tell which one was you anymore. That shadow digging into your flesh. Trying to crawl in, trying to live through you. Everywhere I looked, Troy Maxon was staring back at me, hiding under the bed and the closet. I'm just saying, I've got to find a way to get rid of the shadow, Mama. You just like him. You got him and you good. Don't tell me that, Mama. You Troy Maxon all over again. I don't want to be Troy Maxon. I want to be me. You can't be nobody but who you are, Cory. That shadow wasn't nothing but you growing into yourself. You either got to grow into it or cut it down to fit you. But that's all you got to make life with. That's all you got to measure yourself against the world out there. Your daddy wanted you to be everything that he wasn't, and at the same time he tried to make you into everything he was. I don't know if he was right or wrong, but I do know he meant to do more good than he meant to do harm. He wasn't always right. Sometimes when he touched, he bruised. And sometimes when he took me in his arms, he cut. When I first met your daddy, I thought, here's a man I can lay down with and make a baby. That's the first thing I thought when I seen him. I was 30 years old and had seen my share of men. But when he walked up to me and said, I can dance a waltz that'll make you dizzy, I thought, Rosalie, here's a man that you can open yourself up to and be filled to bursting. Here's a man that you can fill all them empty spaces you've been tipping around the edges of. One of them empty spaces was being somebody's mother. I married your daddy and settled down to cooking his supper and keeping clean sheets on his bed. When your daddy walked through the house, he was so big he filled it up. That was my first mistake, not to make him leave some room for me. For my part in the matter, but at that time I wanted that. I wanted a house that I could sing in, and that's what your daddy gave me. I didn't know to keep up his strength. I had to give up little pieces of mine. I did that. I took on his life as mine and mixed up the pieces so that you couldn't hardly tell which was which anymore. It was my choice. It was my life, and I didn't have to live it like that. But that's what life offered me in the way of being a woman, and I took it. I grabbed hold of it with both hands. By the time Raynell came into the house, me and your daddy had lost touch with one another. I didn't want to make my blessing off of nobody's misfortune, but I took on to Raynell like she was all them babies I had wanted and never had. The phone rings, like I'd been blessed to relive a part of my life. And if the Lord see fit to keep up my strength, I'm going to do it to her just like your daddy did it to you. I'm going to give her the best of what's in me. Entering, still with her old shoes. Mama, Reverend Tolliver on the phone. Rose exits into the house. Hi. You in the Army or the Marines? Marines. Papa said it was the Army. Did you know Blue? Blue? Who's Blue? Papa's dog, what he sing about all the time. Singing. Hear it ring. I had a dog, his name was Blue. You know Blue was mighty true. You know Blue was a good old dog. Blue treed a possum in a hollow log. You know from that he was a good old dog. Hear it ring, hear it ring. Raynell joins in singing. Blue treed a possum out on a limb. Blue looked at me and I looked at him. Grabbed that possum and put him in a sack. Blue stayed there till I came back. Old Blue's feet was big and round, never allowed a possum to touch the ground. Old Blue died and I dug his grave. I dug his grave with a silver spade. Let him down with a golden chain, and every night I call his name. Go on, Blue, you good old dog. You good dog, you. Go on, Blue, you good dog, you. Blue laid down and died like a man. Blue laid down and died. Blue laid down and died like a man. Now he's treeing possums in the promised land. I'm going to tell you this to let you know. Blue's gone where the good dogs go. When I hear old Blue bark, Blue treed a possum in Noah's Ark. Blue treed a possum in Noah's Ark. Rose comes to the screen door. Cory, we're going to be ready to go in a minute. To Raynell. You go on in the house and change them shoes like Mama told you so we can go to Papa's funeral. Okay, I'll be back. Raynell exits into the house. Cory gets up and crosses over to the tree. Rose stands in the screen door watching him. Gabriel enters from the alley, calling, Hey, Rose. Gabe? I'm here, Rose. Hey, Rose, I'm here. Rose enters from the house. Lord, look here, Lions. See, I told you, Rose. I told you they'd let him come. How you doing, Uncle Gabe? How you doing, Uncle Gabe? Hey, Rose, it's time. It's time to tell St. Peter to open the gates. Troy, you ready? You ready, Troy? I'm going to tell St. Peter to open the gates. You get ready now. Gabriel, with great fanfare, braces himself to blow. The trumpet is without a mouthpiece. He puts the end of it into his mouth and blows with a great force, like a man who has been waiting some 20-odd years for this single moment. No sound comes out of the trumpet. He braces himself and blows again with the same result. A third time he blows. There is a weight of impossible description that falls away and leaves him bare and exposed to a frightful realization. It is a trauma that a sane and normal mind would be unable to withstand. He begins to dance, a slow, strange dance, eerie and life-giving. A dance of atavistic signature and ritual. Lions attempts to embrace him. Gabriel pushes Lions away. He begins to howl in what is an attempt at a song, or perhaps a song turning back into itself in an attempt at speech. He finishes his dance, and the gates of heaven stand open as wide as God's closet. That's the way that go. Blackout.